Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right into this profound exploration of what it actually means to approach God when we're at our absolute lowest. We're going to look at some incredibly powerful lessons found directly in the Bible regarding the power of unpolished, raw prayer. You know, for anyone who has ever felt totally overwhelmed by their own missteps or felt that crushing weight of guilt and thought, man, I need to clean myself up before I can even talk to God, well, this explainer is going to completely flip that script for you. We're looking at a specific text titled The Weight of Mercy, Finding Hope in Honest Prayer, and it centers around this incredible super vulnerable moment from King David.
We're anchoring this explainer right at the very beginning with these specific verses from the Bible which just perfectly capture a desperate yet incredibly hopeful plea. Psalm 38:21-22 says, "Lord, do not forsake me. Do not be far from me, my God. Come quickly to help me, my Lord and my Savior." Just listen to the absolute urgency in those words. This isn't some formal, stiff recitation. This is a real cry from the heart. And it really sets the foundation for everything we're about to unpack today about how God responds not to our perfection, but to our genuine need.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The weight of mistakes. 2. Bringing your whole burden. 3. Honesty over hiding. 4. Help in your weakness. 5. How to live it out. And finally, 6. Hope in honest prayer.
All right, Section 1. The Weight of Mistakes. Historical context.
Before we really get into the prayer itself, we've got to set the stage with David's overwhelming state of mind. Psalm 38 is, honestly, one of his most agonizingly honest prayers. He isn't writing this from a place of victory, but from a valley of deep, self-inflicted defeat. He's profoundly overwhelmed by crushing physical pain, a heavy emotional heart, and the sheer spiritual weight of his sin. Coming from that theological perspective of total inability, he is keenly aware that he's utterly powerless to fix his own brokenness. He's entirely broken, recognizing that his struggles are just as internal as they are external.
Moving to Section 2, bringing your whole burden, the main argument. Look at David's reaction here because it's actually completely counterintuitive. Instead of running away from God, David brings his unpolished reality directly to him. He acknowledges his sin openly. He recognizes his internal struggles without making a single excuse. And most importantly, he brings everything to God without pretending to have it all together. He just prays this raw, completely unfiltered prayer. He proves that prayer doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be honest. He doesn't wait to clean up his act, he brings the mess directly to the only one who can actually clean it.
Section 3. Honesty over hiding. 2 mindsets. This really illustrates the core conflict we all face. Our human instinct, which, by the way, goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden when humans basically invented the game of hide and seek using fig leaves, is to hide. We think we need to, fix ourselves first before we're somehow worthy to approach God. We want to present this polished, perfect version of ourselves. But the biblical reality is that God invites you to come exactly as you are. True healing only begins when we stop hiding and start bringing our raw, unfiltered pain directly to Him. God isn't distant from your failure, He is deeply invested in your restoration.
Section 4. Help in your weakness. Supporting evidence.
Let's look again at that plea David makes. Do not forsake me, come quickly to help me, my Savior. Notice that last title. Even right in the middle of deep conviction, physical pain, and absolute moral failure, David still confidently calls God his Savior. He doesn't say, my judge or my punisher. He says, my Savior. That is massive. It shows that even in total weakness, David knows God is his absolute only source of help and hope, and that God actually draws near when called upon, regardless of how unworthy we might feel.
This boils down to one crucial point. God is near even in brokenness. And here's why this matters so much for you. Guilt has this terrible way of making you feel like you are simply too far gone for God to help. It totally isolates you. But this explainer reminds us that God meets you at your absolute lowest points. He doesn't abandon you when you fail. Instead, He literally meets you right in the rubble of your mistakes and offers mercy, strength, and restoration instead of abandonment.
Section 5. How to live it out. Practical application.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? The text gives us this crystal clear step-by-step process. And man, the implications here are profound, especially for college students who are so often facing this crushing culture of perfectionism, intense academic anxiety, and high-stakes performance that makes any failure feel fatal. Step 1. Be honest with God about your struggles. Just stop the performance. Tell Him exactly how much it hurts or exactly where you failed. Step 2. Don't wait until you feel better to pray. Honestly, this is a trap. We often think we need to muster up some specific level of spiritual enthusiasm to talk to God, but a raw, distressed prayer is still a faithful prayer. Step 3. Confess your burdens instead of carrying them alone. The weight of your mistakes was never meant to be carried on your own shoulders. Drop those heavy burdens immediately through confession.
Continuing with how to live this out, we've got 3 key actions to keep in mind. First, pray honestly, even when you feel completely unworthy. Actually, scratch that, especially when you feel unworthy. Your worthiness isn't the prerequisite for prayer. God's mercy is. Second, ask God for help instead of isolating yourself. Guilt thrives in the dark, right? In isolation. Bring it out into the light. And third, trust that God is still your Savior in every single season. Whether you are up on the mountaintop or down in the deepest valley of your own making, His identity as your Savior remains completely unchanged.
And finally, Section 6, Hope and Honest Prayer. Conclusion.
We've looked at the historical context, the mindset shift, and the practical steps. So now, it's time for a personal challenge. I want to leave you with these 2 really provocative reflection questions from the text to chew on. Number 1, what burdens have you been carrying around instead of just bringing them to God? What are you trying to fix completely on your own that you really just need to drop at His feet? And number 2, how can you be more honest with God in your prayers today? It's time to stop pretending, stop hiding, and start healing. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go and have that honest conversation.